And welcome to another Mark Bishop Show. I got a question for you. Has your business left pandemic relief funds on the table? You know what? We're going to find out how small and medium-sized businesses, SMBs and nonprofits may still benefit from Employee Retention Credit, that's ERC program. Because my special guest is Jay Woods. He's the founder and CEO of Omega Accounting Solutions. Welcome, Jay. Welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Well, the last 2 years, my friend, of trying to keep businesses afloat in a pandemic, it's been very difficult for everyone, even more so for small and medium-sized businesses. There's been worker shortages, supply chain problems, changes in spending habits, and what seems like a never-ending list of challenges. They've had a huge impact on those just trying to make a living. You know, it's been a very rough time. Jay, what say you?
Yeah, I would agree with you. And a rough time to be running a business and having to adapt to the complexities of navigating the pandemic and then making sure that you're in front of the different relief efforts that are out there.
Well, Jay, according to the World Economic Forum, 99.9% of all businesses in the U.S. qualify as small businesses. I mean, that's huge. Collectively employing, I think it's 60 million Americans. That's a lot of people, isn't it?
It's a substantial amount of the workforce. Absolutely.
You know, and as these businesses struggle to adapt, I mean, how do these businesses in the pandemic, the federal government funded the Paycheck Protection Program, that's the PPP, and Employee Retention Credit programs. But, to stay open and continue paying their employees, well, what's the issue, Jay?
Yeah, so I mean, really right now what's in front of business owners is this Employee Retention Tax Credit. And essentially, an employer of under 500 employees, which will be small to mid-sized companies, can qualify for up to $26,000 per employee. And so really what needs to be shown is an impact because of COVID. And so if you're a business owner and you're an employer, whether you're for-profit or non-for-profit, you really need to look and see if you can qualify for that credit.
Well, it would certainly help, wouldn't it? $26,000 per employee. So as a founder and CEO of Omega Accounting Solutions, can you tell us who may still be eligible for these funds? I know you touched on a couple of areas, but are there any areas we don't know about in small business where they think, oh, look, I wouldn't have a chance for that sort of thing? Is there any hidden areas we don't know? Yeah, no, it's really do you have employees? That's sort of the first test is if you're an employer and you were paying wages, you need to be looking at this. And I think part of the confusion of the pandemic was at the onslaught, the Congress created a path where you had to pick PPP or the retention credit, and most people opted for the PPP because you're dealing with your banker. It's a lot easier than working with the IRS, quite frankly. And so what happened at the beginning of 2021 was the Biden administration comes in, they enact the CARES Act, and what that did was open up the path to do both credits. Mm-hmm. And so what we're really seeing is business owners just aren't aware that they qualify for the retention credit because the reality was in 2020, it wasn't the option that they were choosing. And so if your business was impacted, whether that was your revenue declined, and you can meet that test, you're going to qualify. But even if your revenue didn't decline significantly, but your operations were impacted. So let's say you're a restaurant and you had to go to takeout only. Well, that's an impact that's pretty noticeable and pretty nominal. And as the pandemic changed and restrictions changed, and let's say that same restaurant now can do indoor dining, but because of social distancing has to have a 50% capacity, that's still an impact. Mm. And so the complexity of this credit, it really is a quarter-to-quarter credit, and you really need to have the right advisory or counsel walking you through the qualification. So how can businesses make up then for this lost pandemic revenue? Yeah, I mean, the easy solution is look into this employee retention credit. You know, if you're a business owner with 10 employees, that could be $260,000 that you could get. If you employ 100 individuals, that's $2.6 million of eligible credits that you can get from the IRS. So you really need to look at this. This program has a 3-year window starting at the beginning of this year. So there is a time element, and you don't want to be the group that missed out. Well, you did touch on restaurants before, but which industries can benefit the most, do you think, from the ERC? Yeah, it's really a situation where the credit is industry agnostic.
It's more about the impact of COVID. So we're seeing construction companies, retail, manufacturing, even in the nonprofit space, churches or organizations where their donations were down or they couldn't operate, because of COVID restrictions. Mm-hmm. So really, are you an employer and did COVID affect you? That's where you need to be looking.
Well, it's pretty broad. There's quite a few got a lift up in there, hand up at least anyway. Are there any other relief programs available for business and nonprofits? Or is this really the focus right now?
Yeah, so this is really the focus. The PPP has run its course. The SBA had a program called the Economic Impact Disaster Loan Program. There's talks that they may revive and refund that program because of its popularity. So I would keep tabs on what the SBA is doing.
Is that a forgivable one too, Jay? Is that a forgivable one?
This is the EIDL is a 30-year loan that the SBA does. It's not forgivable, but it's a very low interest rate, and it's hard to be a business and find a 30-year loan program that is as substantial as what this economic impact disaster loan. The PPP program was the forgivable loan.
Right,
so
right.
That one has gone through 2 rounds and has pretty much sunsetted.
Well, see, folks, there's a fellow that knows his stuff. This is Jay Woods I'm speaking to, Amiga Accounting Solutions. So what tax credit options do employers have going into 2022? What would you advise them?
Yeah, my advice is you first and foremost need to take advantage of this employee retention tax credit. But then I think, with business owners and managers, I'm advising, hey, take an assessment. You've gone through the pandemic. There's been, drastic changes to your operations. And the reality is, as you said earlier, there are 99% of businesses are small businesses. And the problem is they are an underserved market when it comes to tax credits. And the power of tax credits is really kind of front and top of mind through this pandemic. But there are a lot of programs that predate the pandemic. There's an R&D tax credit for research and development. There's credits for helping train your employees and retain them in certain impacted areas. And so I think you really have to assess, if you're not aware of these credits, do you have the right team? So you should be talking to your CPA, your financial advisor, and making sure you are aware of what benefits are out there for a business of your size.
Well, according to Forbes, the IRS anticipated that 70 to 80% of small businesses and tens of thousands of charities would apply for and benefit from the ERC. But the actual numbers, though, they're far lower than that. Employers at these companies and charities, they've left billions of dollars on the table. And as Jay talked about before, up to $26,000 per employee based on payroll taxes. Well, look, can anybody speak to you, Jay? Are you open? Where can they find you and read more about this? And can they approach you?
They can, yeah. So they can check us out at omega-accounting.com and /ERC for more information. And but also, I really just encourage business owners to check in with their advisors. Contact your CPA. See if they can help you establish eligibility and claim the credit.
Fantastic, Jay. I tell you what, I just really wonder how many people don't know, what they are leaving on the table. And right now, every dollar counts. Everything helps. Small and medium-sized businesses, maybe you're involved with one, maybe you have one yourself. Nonprofits, hey, you can still benefit from Employees Retention Credit Program. And the fellow that brought it to the Mark Bishop Show, Jay Woods. He is the founder and CEO of Amiga Accounting Solutions. Okay, but it's amigaaccounting.com. You can look him up on the website, and of course his pic and bio will be on my channel on markbishopmedia.com. And you can hear this again anytime you wish on your favorite podcast platforms. So thank you very much, Jay. You've enlightened me, and I would imagine quite a few people. Good on you for doing that, and good luck with your business.
Thank you, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
You're most welcome. Goodbye now.